Thank you, Mr. Gardner, for loving me enough to cut me down. Thank you, Mr. Gardner.
Welcome to the video. If you don't know who I am, this is Ruben, regular dad, sharing my journey with you all, prepping for an ultramarathon and regular dad life. So this morning was a little crazy and things didn't go to plan. And honestly, that's how the last week or so has been. So I'll give you a little update on all of that in just a moment here. But currently we're on the way to get a yummy breakfast and say goodbye to my brothers for the next 2 years. They're headed to Mexico, which is pretty crazy for their 2-year missions. So stay tuned for some yummy food, and we'll catch you in a little bit.
I don't know about you guys, but I am a little bit of a perfectionist, a little bit OCD, and so when things don't go according to plan, it can get pretty frustrating for me. As far as this morning goes, typically I like to do my long runs on Saturday mornings. Typically at least 10 miles, hopefully closer to 15 on the trails. Sometimes with the elevation gain, that can take 3 hours. And so I try to block off my entire Saturday mornings for the long runs. But this morning, like you just saw, we had breakfast with my family. So it was definitely needed to say goodbye to them, but also that makes this morning a little bit trickier for me. Currently, I'm on the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. You can see my house somewhere there in the background. But that's another piece of the pie here. Right next to our house, there was a fire that started last Sunday, right after I had gone on the trails, probably 2 hours after it was first spotted. And that has made the last week pretty difficult. I haven't been able to get on this trail since Sunday, and it's so close to our house, and that's where I've been doing a lot of my training runs. So again, another thing that really hasn't gone to plan. That is really what I wanted to talk about today, is what to do when things don't go to plan and how to deal with it, because it can be frustrating, it can be stressful, but that's just the reality of life. There are gonna be things that don't go to plan, but we have to be able to deal with those setbacks and keep moving forward through them. So I'm gonna continue the run a little bit here. I'm gonna see how close I can get to where the fire was. So right behind me is the site of the Buckley Draw fire, basically 2 miles from my house. So I'm about a mile into my late morning run here, and it was about a mile to drive to the spot on the trail where I am. Immediately when we heard about the fire last week, and as we were driving home on the freeway, we could see the flames coming off the mountain. First thought was, of course, I hope everybody is safe and there's no damage. But after that, I was thinking about how fires are actually sometimes a good thing for the environment. As far as I know, every handful of years, it can be good for the environment to have a fire, for everything to be cleansed and then allow it to grow back up. And so the story that is one of my favorites that I thought of as soon as I heard about this fire is the story of the currant bush. There was a gardener, and as he was walking through his garden, he noticed the currant bush was growing kind of out of control. It was tall and unruly and really all over the place. And as he walked by, he decided to trim it back almost down to the stumps, basically. And as he was getting ready to leave, he noticed that at the top of each piece of the plant where he had just cut, he could see tears almost coming off of the bush. And in his mind, he imagined saying, "Currant bush, why are you crying?" And the currant bush said back to him something along the lines of, "Why did you cut me down? I was almost as tall and as big as the shade trees and the other trees in the garden. Why did you cut me down? Why did you have to put me back to the beginning?" And the gardener thought back to himself, almost saying out loud, "One day you'll understand that by me cutting you back, you have the opportunity to grow into a much stronger much healthier currant bush. You're not going to be a fruit tree, you're not going to be a shade tree or like any of the other trees in the garden. You're going to be the currant bush that I want you to be. And the gardener eventually will, imagine coming back to the currant bush, and the bush will say back to him, "Thank you, Mr. Gardener, for loving me enough to cut me down. Thank you, Mr. Gardener." And that story is so powerful to me because, like the fire, like having setbacks, like having plans not go according to what you think they're going to go, we don't know what the purpose of all of that happening is. But we do know that God or fate or a higher power, or however you think about things, has our best interest in mind, and they are going to guide us to what they want us to be, like the currant bush. And so, same with the fire here. I don't know why the fire had to happen, but I do know eventually it's going to be good for the mountain, and it's going to grow back, and same with me. Maybe this all happens for a reason. When things don't go to plan and when setbacks come your way, I think an important thing to remember is that everything really happens for a reason. And you might not understand in the moment why you got injured, or why someone got sick, or why you lost your job, or why things are difficult right now with your family, or whatever your challenge might be at work, at home, in your fitness journey. It's important to remember that challenges really make us stronger. And if you remember that things happen for a reason, then you're going to be in a good place, and it's going to make everything so much easier. So this is another one of my favorite spots on the trail here. I am not 100% sure what it is, but it looks like some abandoned buildings that were on the mountainside. Now it's a pretty cool spot for art, and that is actually another cool thing about all of this is this would have been kind of an eyesore, but someone has turned it into a place of art and a place of beauty, and I think that's pretty dang cool. So gonna continue the rest of this late morning run here. Wow, what a day. So we went out to breakfast with my brothers. Basically after that, I went on the little run 4 miles near the house on the Shoreline Trail. And then once I got home, the girls woke up from their naps, and then we went to the car dealership and weren't planning on buying anything, just wanted to do some test driving, but found something that was perfect for our family. So we bought a new car, and that took forever. After that, I was planning on doing a run with my brothers, so we pushed that off like 3 hours or 4 hours more than we thought it was going to be originally. Met up with them at like 6 o'clock. We ran 7 miles in about an hour, and then all of us, my wife, baby included, went to a Mexican place for dinner. I wasn't planning on doing that originally, but it just worked out to where my brothers were on their prep day, the last one before they leave for the MTC, and so it was the perfect opportunity to get some miles in with them and see them one last time. So we're here, it's almost 10 o'clock, and the day is finally winding down. Luckily, we were able to get everything done that we needed to. I'm at 48 miles for the week, so almost to 50. I'll do 5 or so tomorrow to round out with about 53 miles for the week, which will be the most I've ever done again. Also very crazy. All in all, really the last thought I wanted to share with you all is the most important thing, or one of the most important things about what to keep in mind when life gets crazy and things don't go to plan, is to keep moving forward. That's something they talk about in ultra racing, at least the things that I've seen, is really if you can put one step in front of the other, you're gonna be just fine. And I feel like that's what I had to do today, is just keep moving forward a little bit at a time. And I wasn't sure how the day was going to end up. It was chaotic, it was crazy, but we were continually moving forward, and it turned out to be a great day. We got everything done that we needed to, not in the way that I expected, but we did it. So keep moving forward. Life is going to get crazy. You just got to expect it. And I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully you were able to learn something. If you want to add any tips that you'd like to share when it comes to dealing with uncertainty and when plans go crazy, share them in the comments. I would appreciate a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. We'll catch you later.